What is up, everybody? Sorry for the delay. We're having some technical difficulties here, but I'm still working to get Travis Mangone with us so we can sit here and eat our medicine about the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Clippers. Because, right, in this business, you take your lumps. I was right. You were wrong. JSU, how are you doing today? And how did it feel to watch Tim Hardaway shoot 64% from three?
Well, Spread, as I said on the last show, Tim Hardaway was just, it was like Bryn Forbes coming out and shooting 10 threes and dropping buckets. I can't help it when the guys help Luka carry it home. What do you want me to say? Tim Hardaway got it done for the Pals. Luka, I would say, did his fair share, though. Let's not just give all the credit to Tim Hardaway. I would say that Luka definitely did some good work there. So, I don't know. I'm feeling good. Honestly, I wanted to, go out and buy some Mavericks gear and have, hats on and shirts and everything like that, getting ready for the show. And Mangone completely, here he is now. I was just going to call him out for trying to run scared, but I'm proud of him.
I'm not running scared, JSU. I'm sadly here. I don't want to be here, but I'm here.
Yeah, we got it. It's like going to the doctor's office, right? We got to take our medicine.
I feel like you're in Bledsoe. I just don't want to be here right now. I know what's coming. It's like, geez, it's going to be brutal right now.
I can't help it, Mangone. I tried to talk you guys off the wrong side. You guys were insistent that side was the right side, and my Mavericks just did it. He just put it on you. What do you want me to say? I don't even know what to say here. Mavericks. I gave you guys multiple bet. Lakers locked. That was the easy one, I thought. The Lakers.
Yeah, that was so easy. That was so easy.
One.
I said in a different chat. I said that game is easy to bet, hard to watch.
Yes, exactly. Chris Paul for sure is hurt, by the way.
It's with him, it's over. They're a lottery team without him.
Yeah. So Lakers are going to win that series, but whatever. And then the Dallas +7. It was absolutely disrespectful. And you guys going the opposite way was even more disrespectful. So I just want to sit here and I want to listen to why Mangone still likes the Clippers, because I think he still does.
Mangone, we have to admit that, absorbing the Kristaps Porzingis salary in order to acquire Tim Hardaway Jr. was a pretty shrewd move. What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for me. I was on Twitter not too long ago. You open up the Twitter app and you see, and someone said said Clips in 7, and I was just like, I could not be the guy to stand up and be like Clips in 7 right now. So.
It's only +222 if you do it, which is so wild.
I'm lagging right now.
Going back to Dallas. Yeah.
All right,
we're missing a little Mangone. So JSU, that was fun. We got a little bit of comeuppance there. So let's jump into the games tonight, and then we can go back to talking about how bad our pick was on that one a little bit later when Travis's computer gets fixed. So let's start Washington and Philadelphia. Philadelphia is -8 tonight. The Wizards able to cover in game 1, losing by 7. They've been an ATS machine. Not really a lot different tonight, right? Maybe Beal's a little more healthy, but should be the same game, should be running it back. Interesting stat I saw there, JSU. It was one of the worst defensive games for Joel Embiid all year. The Wizards shot 82% at the rim. That's unheard of for a Joel Embiid rim protection style defense. He brought it up, and his thing was saying, hey, I was in foul trouble. They need me out there. I'm not going to risk getting these fouls on the defensive end. I'll let them take their layups. Don't know if that happens again, and if that corrects itself, I think Philadelphia covers. But yesterday I said that the three-point shooting for Dallas would regress, and it didn't. So what do you expect from this game?
Yeah, so I don't think we can fault Embiid, right? He was in foul trouble. He was trying to stay on the floor. Man, he that's what he wanted. Did you see him on the bench after his first bit of foul trouble where it was the first quarter, and he's just they put the camera right on him, and you could just see he was completely just bummed out. He wasn't out there. He was pissed. So I don't see that happening this game. I see a little better performance with him at the rim. I'm not worried there. But if you're Washington, man, that is one way. If you can get Joel Embiid in foul trouble, that is definitely one way to do it, because
Seems to be the only way to me.
They're he is the problem for every team. Like every team that Philly is going to face, he is the X factor. He is the problem, right? Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, fine. They're not the problem. Joel Embiid is like an actual problem, like in a full series. Can Simmons or Tobias have a great game and get it done for you one game? Yeah, sure, fine. But Embiid is the one who can carry you through series, and I see this as a different game here. I think this game they end up smacking them. I think Embiid comes out and is dominant from start to finish, and I just see them rolling.
All right, Mangone, we're going to let JSU gloat a little later towards the end of the show, but now we're breaking down the Wizards and the Sixers. What do you think about this game? I kind of lean towards laying the 8 here, but Washington has been an ATS machine. Do you expect things to change? It was pretty close to being right on the number. I think you could also argue this is a fine game to pass on.
All right, I'm on a different computer. I think it's going to be good.
I hope so. We need this. We need this content.
I know. Listen, I'm not running JC. I mean, if I was, I would have just bowed out by now, but we'll get to that later. We'll talk about this game coming up. The Sixers, what is the line right now? Is it 8.5, you said?
I see 8, but I'm sure it's between 8 and 8.5.
I'm sure it's going to keep moving, right? I mean, it's not going the other way. At least that's my assumption. I'm definitely on the Sixers side more than the Wizards side. I just can't get too excited about this Wizards team. I think the Sixers team is really strong. They also had Embiid in foul trouble last game, right? Like, I think that this team is going up against a Wizards team that is not that good, right? I mean, Russell Westbrook, where is his bread and butter made? It's made at the rim, right? And he can't get to the rim in this situation. It's a very difficult matchup for him. It's unfortunate that that's who he drew, right? If he drew like the Nets, like it would have been kind of interesting just because the Nets, obviously their defense isn't as great, but it feels like they've been a little bit better on defense than I expected. But ultimately, I think that you just go with the Sixers here with the 8 and call it a day. I don't really want to mess with the Wizards side too much. Just don't think there's no need to do that. Do you guys think that are there any props here that you could bet? Like Tobias Harris was absolutely dominating them last game. I think some Tobias Harris props could be interesting because it seems like he can just get any bucket he wants. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree on that.
Yeah, what do you think, JSU? You do more of the individual player stuff, and I think that would kind of correlate to DFS. Like, would you roster Harris tonight? Do you think he's good value?
Speaking of props, real quick, I think I gave out the DeAndre and over in points that hit. And that was plus money. That was plus money there. And then Anthony Davis, which I thought was a good one too, that I talked up on the show, and he went way over 23.5. I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, and JC, we should talk about. I know you don't like Simmons, and I don't either, but like those guys' prices, Simmons and Harris in DFS, a huge decision point today is like, do you play them or not? Because they are cheap. I mean, they're.
Well, I mean, everyone's gonna play them. I haven't even looked yet, to be honest with you.
What do you think the price is? What's your guess? What do you think the prices are, JC?
7. I'm gonna say Ben Simmons is 7.2 and Tobias Harris is 7.4.
Yeah, 7-0 on Tobias, I think, or 7-1. It's one of those two, and then Simmons is like 7-3. I mean, they didn't move them up at all, really. It was, I mean, it's just. Okay.
So they're going to be like 50 to 60% owned.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see when I'll pull the slate up in a second, but just looking at some props here, just because I do think we can get some decent value on some of these, but we're real quick. Tobias at 21.5. Embiid's at 32.5. Whoa.
And mine is juiced at minus 136. So it's 32.5 and it's juiced. But on a game with the total of 229 that I could see going over, I see why they put that number there. If they put anything under 30, their liability would be massive. It'd be like 90% on one side. And I think on a lot of these, I think they just play the house. I don't think they can get the even numbers because there's not enough bettors that bet unders. And I think that's the one exploited market in the props is the unders. And I keep saying it, but it's so hard to do.
Well, yeah, because how I see Joel Embiid, if he's going to go under this number, it's a blowout. Like it's like a 25 to 30 point blowout.
Right.
Like,
and they don't need him because Maxey and Milton are just dropping dimes, and
right. Seth Curry's maybe hitting threes and stuff, like Danny Green. That was the other thing too. Did you guys notice how wide open some of those corner threes were when they would just swing the ball? Like all the attention is going to go to like Embiid, and if Harris is on, it's going to leave those corner threes like wide open consistently. Where if Danny Green and Seth Curry are hitting, they're going to have easy looks at the hoop. So that I think Tobias's prop would be the only one I would look at, unless you want to go for the Embiid under and hope it's a blowout. Because honestly, he could easily go over 32.5. That's how good he is. But
I mean, could that be one of those games where he breaks the slate in like a 28-minute performance, right? I mean, I could see him still getting like 60 fantasy points. And
but if he gets
30
60, minutes. Is the slate broken?
I'm probably using that term wrong. But you know what I'm saying? Like still being an effective spend up would probably be a better way.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's not that many spend ups, I guess, on this slate. I'm just pulling it up right now. And you look at it, it's like Russ, Embiid, Randall, Beal, Trae Young. Like those are the spend ups. And some of those guys I mentioned are under 9K. So Russ and Embiid are like the only two real spend ups at 10K or above. So, and I think Embiid's definitely the better one. I don't think Russ is going to be as highly owned just because matchup is tough, the chance for a blowout. So I don't know in DFS, even though I think that it's a really tough matchup for him, and I think that Philly probably dominates them. In DFS, if Russ is going to be lower owned, is it okay to take a shot on Russell Westbrook? Yeah, I think so. But I don't know, Mangone, what do you think of like Russ? Because I don't think he's going to be high owned compared to Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, so the problem with Russ, there's nothing against him. It's just that there's not a lot of value on the slate always, right? Like that's kind of one of the issues
that's why I don't think he's going to be high owned though.
Yeah, because so if you pull up, like I'll pull up DK now. If you plug Russ in only, right? Just Russell Westbrook. You're at like 5.5 for your last, 7 spots or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like that is still tough, right? Like
that is.
Like it's not that easy to kind of get the job done there. Embiid, obviously at 10-1, I think it's a $1,300 difference, but you have to roster a center, right? There are a bunch of centers you can roster on this slate, though. There is Randall, who you can make a case for at the center spot, unless you'd rather him at power forward. Depends on how weak that position is. I wouldn't be touching J-Val. I don't mind Capella at 7-8, but it's okay. Rudy Gobert, I don't like as much, but he's okay. So I don't know. It just seems easier to really just kind of plug him in. Also, Taj Gibson, right? He could be a really extreme value. And that is something if Noel happens to be out, right? That could be big news for a guy like a Taj Gibson and give him a bump and give some other Knicks bumps. That could be really big. So value is going to be important. And even if Noel is in, like sometimes when these guys are hurt and they're in, like we saw it yesterday with Chris Paul, sometimes these guys get ruled in tournaments. Don't be afraid to be like, you know what? I'm going to take a bet on Noel might play, but maybe he only plays 22 minutes because he's not fully healthy. And then so the guy who's behind him gets the run and gets the work. A great example was Chris Paul with Cam Payne yesterday. A lot of people were playing Chris Paul. I could not believe he was chalk yesterday. It was the most baffling thing ever. And Cam Payne behind him would have been an amazing leverage play. Absolutely amazing because he's a clear replacement if Chris Paul does re-hurt himself or can't actually play. So, I think ultimately the value is what matters. And we might have some with some injury news on this slate.
That's a good point. Like Noel left that game and he didn't come back, right, Mangone?
And he's on the report today. He's on the injury report today. He's questionable. So
yeah, he's always injured too, by the way. Like talk about someone who just constantly gets hurt. I mean, he's so fragile.
I would say it feels like Taj Gibson to me just feels like a guy I'm just plug and play into my lineups. Like I think he's gonna get run regardless, and he has a chance to get like more run if Noel like is out. Like it's just I think he's like an easy plug and play today.
And too, it's going to bump up. Randall plays more 5 in this game when Taj is out, and it's gonna bump the guards because you could tell in that game. Man, they needed Quickly's offense. They needed Burks' offense, big time, right? If they come out struggling to score, that first unit, if you watch that first unit play right from the tip, they struggled ridiculously in the beginning to score the basketball. And then when guys like Quickly and Burks came in, they actually were playing so well that at the end of the second quarter, do you guys remember Randall and Barrett were still waiting at like the 5-minute mark to come back in? You guys remember that? They were sitting they were showing them too. They're like, these guys are still on the bench. Like they're not normally still on the bench, but the second unit was playing so good that they honestly, like, they couldn't take him out. Even Tibbs, and you know how much he loves Randall and Barrett, he couldn't even put his two main, cogs back in there to finish it out until I think like the 4:30 mark, 4-minute mark, somewhere around there, they went back in. But that's later than normal. Like normally Randall's back in earlier than that. So it'll depend on how it goes, but it definitely bumps up a guy like Burke's minutes, I think, because they clearly need him out there for scoring and creating offense.
All right, well, let's circle back to this game because I think we'll do this game last. Let's jump in and just talk about Memphis, Utah real quick, and then we'll circle back and give out our picks for Atlanta, New York. Utah's now -9.5 with the return of Donovan Mitchell, who was pretty upset that he was held out. Supposedly his training staff that he works with says he's good to go. The Jazz training staff says, no, you're not playing. You're not healthy enough. Don't really know what to make of it, but he's back in the lineup. He's pissed off. Also read a report that I don't know how this is, how true it is or the veracity of the report, but that Donovan Mitchell is kind of alienating the locker room and that they're getting more towards Rudy. And a lot of these other guys are going, hey, we're pretty good with him out. We can score the ball with him out. We need Rudy's defense, though, because Mitchell doesn't give us that. Not sure what to make of it. Right now, I'm taking the 9.5. Give me Memphis. I don't think that they pull a Dallas and go up 2-0, but I do think they keep this game close. I'll take the 9.5. Travis, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't hate taking the 9.5 here. I don't know how healthy Mitchell really is. I mean, that is one thing. I know Quinn Snyder is not happy too. Quinn Snyder is definitely frustrated with everything that went down with that situation. I don't mind taking the 9.5 because I think they can keep this game close enough. And I don't know, man, with Utah, you can make a case that, yeah, they got in foul trouble and they hit a lot of great threes. Also, will Memphis shoot as hot as they did from three? They could again, but Dylan Brooks has been super impressive as well. And I don't want to sleep on this Memphis team completely. I think they lose the game, but I think they lose a game it's a good battle, right? I think it's going to be a good back and forth. And, at least they'll now have someone to help Conley out, right? Like Donovan Mitchell can maybe play defense on Ja Morant. A bit of a bigger body that can kind of cause a little more problems for him. Because, again, Conley's not it, man. If you just put Conley on him there, they even tried Royce O'Neal late in the game, and Royce couldn't get it done. So it seems like they really need Donnie Mitchell here bad. It's a lot of points to be laying there. I kind of am kicking myself for not jumping on Memphis when Donovan Mitchell was ruled out. Felt like I wanted to jump on Memphis, but just couldn't pull the trigger, and I was kind of regretting it. So I kind of want to stay on the Memphis side here.
All right, and I would argue that while he is an upgrade, Mitchell isn't necessarily what I consider a plus defender. I'd say that he's average at best. JSU, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, so one thing about Memphis, you'll notice when they offensively, they'll go on crazy runs where they just go off for like a quarter or something like that, but then they slow right down, and it's like they let teams kind of creep back in, and then they'll go off again. They did this against Golden State, where they had spurts of just like really good offensive basketball for a little bit, and then they'd slow it down, and then they'd have another really good spurt. And it makes it interesting, but it also makes me feel a little comfortable with this 9.5 number to lay just to take Memphis at plus 9.5. I don't know if they win. Would I be shocked if they won this game? No, not really. Who knows how healthy Donovan Mitchell is? You got one training staff saying he's not healthy. You got another training staff on his side saying he is healthy. Who's right? How the heck do we know? And then the locker room seems to be a little upset for whatever reason. I have no idea why. So could Memphis come out and steal another game? It wouldn't shock me at all. I'll lean the points and take Memphis plus 9.5.
All right, guys. Well, since we're rocking through this too, and I do want to end with Atlanta, New York, because that is the highlight of tonight. Let me just get your thoughts on some of the games tomorrow. But we'll do this real quick because obviously we don't have DFS prices or anything yet. Miami, Milwaukee, JSU. I've loved Milwaukee so far, but this game 3 coming back home, right? Doesn't it seem like a smash spot for Miami? Are you continuing to ride the train, or did you see something was that Monday night that really is getting you worried about this Miami team? Because I think once they get back home, those role players, Robinson, Hero, the guys that I've been running down in the first 2 games saying they're not going to get it done, I do think they get it done in game 3. I think it's Miami or no play for tomorrow night. How are you approaching this?
Yeah, so I mean, the line is, what did it open up that spread? Was it 1.5, 2? What was it?
I didn't catch the opener. I think it was a pick. Right now it's Miami +1, and that's and this is the most divergent across the board. If you really shop, you can find different ones. So you can get all the way to Miami +2 right now, or you can get Milwaukee to pick at different books. Most times they're usually in lockstep all across the board. Maybe get an extra half point on the dog at Bovada. At least for the offshore market, but this one's been pretty divergent. So right now I'm seeing Bucks -1.
So this is where I'm kind of nervous because I did think the value was on the Heat side to start the series out. They played that game 1 where both teams really kind of didn't play well offensively. The game went to overtime. Obviously, it was close. Bucks ended up edging them out, and that was, I mean, both teams played their asses off in that game too, by the way. Like both teams tried really hard. I think that was a killer for Miami, and the fact that your stars underperformed in that game and you still had a shot to steal it was like the worst part about it. So then you go to game 2 and you would expect guys like Jimmy and Bam to have better games in this situation where they're just coming off horrible games offensively, like absolutely horrible. And they just get pounded. They look inept offensively, like terrible. Their entire team, they looked like they didn't know what they were doing out there. Goran Dragic seemed to get a little nicked up, and Kendrick Nunn ended up playing a little more. Now, maybe you could say it's just because of the blowout and they were holding him out a little bit. I don't know. Jimmy looks off. Pam looks way off, like terrible. Dwayne Dedmon outplayed him for a lot of that game. Like, that's how bad it was. Yeah. I mean, so I don't know this. So like, it does feel like Miami should take one game, but this just feels like a trap to me, honestly. And I'm a Miami side.
I know. You're almost making me want to take the bet back now. I was almost thinking about just not betting it.
Honestly, I think the Bucks win. And that's my honest opinion. I hate to say it because I want to breathe life back into Miami. Mm-hmm. And it has nothing to do with the Bucks shooting numbers. It has all to do with the fact that Miami offensively looked so bad the first 2 games. Like, really bad. Their defense, to me, is fine. There's nothing you can do about Bryn Forbes and Pat Connaughton coming off the bench and catching fire. Those guys are hitting those type of threes. There's not many teams in the league that can
I don't think that happens down in South Beach. I really don't.
Well,
I think that's that role player home court deal.
If that game happens 10 times, I mean, let's be honest here. 10 games happen between these 2 teams. How many times are those guys coming out in the first quarter and they're scoring 46 and they have like 10 threes? Like, let's be honest with ourselves here. That's not happening, more than once, most likely. So I don't know. It more has to do with how bad Miami's look than how good Milwaukee's look, in my opinion, because you can't convince me that Milwaukee's even looked that good. I think it's more about how bad Miami's look than how good Milwaukee's look.
I think Milwaukee's defense has been the best defense that I've seen out of all the playoff teams so far, if you're just taking a 2-game sample.
Yeah.
All right, Travis, real quick, who do you like in that game?
I've been leaning the Heat, but I'm not like strong on it, right? It's not like this like strong take. It's tough though, because I think this Bucks team is pretty for real right now. They're definitely giving me more worries than I had thought in the past. I do want to see what happens, obviously, in the second round. That'll be really exciting. But this Bucks team is definitely better. It's Jimmy Butler too. Is not been right. He does not seem right. Someone in the chat, Eric, said that Bam is $100 million screen setter.
That's a little too much.
I don't want to go that far, but it's kind of funny, right? It's like Mikey's in the chat just throwing in a take. I mean, come on. It's not
I'll tell you right now, he's not worth half that the way he's looked in this to start this series.
Oh, for sure. It's been a rough go.
I mean, I don't think that's who he's gonna be. Like we're talking about 2 games here. So
Yeah.
here's to be clear, but
I think he looks good tomorrow night. I think he gets right back on track.
Here's one question I wanted to ask for you guys. How much does this game being in Miami, like, so if this game, like, so in Portland, right, there's only 2,000 fans. Miami, that place is going to be full, right?
Right.
So, like, that home court advantage, is that going to be, like, a big favor there? Like, especially, like, for instance, like, the thing I worry about with the Clippers, I know I didn't get a chance to talk about them, but they're going to Dallas. Like, Dallas, they're going to be packed with fans. Like, I think like that extra boost of fans is going to be nice. I mean,
honestly, Mangone, don't you feel like both teams probably, like all teams, honestly, love it with them not being used to having fans?
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, it sounded like or even fuel up the other team. I'm not sure. It's been hard to handicap it all and figure out. So, I don't know. I think series just back and forth like the Heat, I think.
All right. Well, we missed a little bit, but I think I'll come back to you. Travis, we might need a reset. But JSU, while we do that, and I think this one's going to be real quick, right? I'm of the contention.
I like
Yeah, we're losing Mangone. But hey, so real quick, I think that this, I mean, maybe saying that they're a lottery team's a little far, right? But I think that they're a play-in team without Chris Paul. I don't think he's 100%. I'm laying the 6.5. I mean, it just seems pretty darn easy, right? I mean, Lakers go home and smash, right? Do you think that they're just back on track and this ends up 4-1 unless Chris Paul returns to form?
So what? It's 6.5 right now. They're going to LA. So I think because of how good both teams are defensively, I do think that number is close, right? Because I do think this game stays somewhat close. So I think it's really a toss-up here on which side you want to lean. I think the safe side's honestly taking the points with the Suns because how slow these teams play. And even with Chris Paul injured, he still, has some effect on the game. Like he's not awful. He's just not like they weren't beating the Lakers without great games from Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Like that's
if he's not
the
100%, it's over.
He's not. And so, unless Devin Booker's going to go out there and drop like 40 or 50 or something like that.
Hey, but did you see the adjustment they made? Did you see? Remember I talked about Booker can cook Caruso because Caruso only works when he's a bully? Okay, cool. Booker does well against guys that are his size. Let's put AD on him. I mean, he was done. He was just done. Like he can't. That matchup's so bad for him. And without Paul out there being effective, he's got nothing to do.
He was passing the ball so quick on some of those plays too, where he was just like, "Nope, I want none of this. Here you go. I'll give it to somebody else." And honestly, if you're the Lakers, you'd want anyone else shooting besides him.
I mean, there's nothing worse than being guard with someone.
Let beat you. Let Crowder, let all these secondary guys beat you, and that's kind of what they did. And AD, I said it. Like AD has to dominate,
and he did.
You can't. You can't have the like a guy, him, Joel Embiid, these guys that are literally just like teams don't have anyone to match them. Right? Like there is no one to match these guys. You can't let them go out there and shoot 15 times a game. That's a coach fault. Literally, that's the coach's fault. Like that's bad coaching right there. Your best player, your most dominant player takes 15 shots in a game. That's on you. You need to drop more plays for him. You need to, whatever you got to do, get this guy more friggin' shots. And he goes out there and he lays it on the Suns. 34 points. How many shots did he take? Took only 15 again. Like what? God. The only thing was he went to the free throw line 21 times. That was what got him there.
Yeah. And I might throw out a tweet that's like, tell me you're under 25 without saying that you're under 25, and it would be Chris Paul is a top 5 point guard of all time because you just can't rely on this guy, and I know it sucks for injuries, but it's the same reason that Bill Walton's not one of the greatest players of all time, right? Because of injuries. Travis, what do you think of this game? And please give me some validation that under that I lost last night was the worst beat of 2021. Me losing the under on that Lakers game, that was the worst beat of 2021. That put me in an absolutely foul mood.
Oh, I didn't even realize you lost that. That
it was so terrible.
It was like by 2, right, spread?
It was and it was
like
it was 103 to 99, like a minute to go.
That is gross. The Caruso dunk too. I mean, just all of it. There was a lot of gross stuff at the end. I'm sure that will make that comfortable for you. But yeah, I mean, it's the series is definitely dead for the Suns, right? Like it's just over. Like with CP3 hurt, it's just not going to happen. It's very difficult. I thought for a chance the Suns could take that game, but it's like, I mean, Chris Paul just looks so bad. It's like, even if the Suns took that game, right? Do you honestly think you could sit up and like be like, okay, Suns are up 2-0. Could you bet on the Suns in the next game? I don't know if I could.
So do you think they cover the 6.5? Because I think the Lakers smash her. But JSU makes a good point. I do expect it to be a low-scoring game. The total is at 210 again, and 6.5 points is a lot more points in a total of 210 than it is a total of 237.
It is a lot more. It's obviously more time for Chris Paul to get that shoulder treated up too, right? It's probably like a 3-day break instead of a 2-day.
No, they're back on Thursday night. That's what we're talking about.
Thursday.
Yeah. Pull the Jamal Murray. We play Thursday?
Yeah. I guess it's only a day then in between. I thought it was the 3 days. I thought from game 2 they go over. I mean, it's tough to lay the 6.5, but honestly, I just think the Lakers beat them. I mean, I think it's going to be too much for them, right? It's just, I don't know how Ayton and Booker keep it up. I think that Chris Paul is just not going to be healthy enough to be able to get this done. He literally, keep in mind, Spread, he can't shoot. Like, I mean, he's literally only out there to pass and like play defense and tell people what to do. I mean, he cannot shoot the ball. They can defend him. I mean, they're just going to keep learning how to defend him as the series goes on. I think it's just going to get worse and worse for the Suns.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk about Denver-Portland real quick, and then we'll circle back to the main event.
One other thing, too. Like, how does AD get 21 trips? Like, he has 21 field goal free throw attempts here. I'm telling you right now, I said this before the series started. The league wants the Lakers.
Yeah, it's easy to bet, hard to watch.
They are not losing. Like, I'm sorry, people.
I mean, you guys give me shit for watching WWE. It's the same shit.
I'm telling you right now, though, like, I'm sorry to the Suns backers. The league wants LeBron and AD. They want those guys. More stars, the better as they get in to push them. They are not losing to the Suns. Like unless there's a drastic injury to one or two of those guys, like they are not losing. You'll see it more. I'm telling you right now, like if this series ever got
and I didn't want to bring it up because of the sour grapes, but if any other player did that kick at the beginning of the game, they're ejected, right? I mean, I
thought honestly he was. Honestly, I thought he was gonna get ejected. I was like, what?
Any other player? If a Phoenix player did that, he's ejected. You know, I mean, but that's fine. We know this is how it is, and we can make money off it. Like I said, I hate the Lakers, but it's so easy to bet because I already know they have all the advantages.
Spread, it's simple. Adam Silver loves LeBron James. Vince McMahon loves the big dog. He loves Roman Reigns. I mean, that's how it goes.
Yeah, you know, I love it. Oh, God, maybe I can text you during some SummerSlam.
I haven't watched in a while, but
but it's the same thing.
I dare you to appreciate that out of nowhere.
Spread, the wrestling fan is actually my oldest brother is like the biggest wrestling fan you'll ever meet. He's never
send me his number so I can text him.
He's never missed any pay-per-view since like 1995. I swear to God, like every single one. He used to get them blank tapes, the VCR tapes. Yeah. My uncle used to record them. He'd buy the pay-per-view for him, record them, and then send them on Monday. And he'd get them after school and watch them.
It's
like
so awesome.
Every single pay-per-view. And he'd have like the blank tape. So we have like hundreds of blank tapes, like literally
so awesome.
all wrestling pay-per-views from like 1990, like 394 to like 2006, 7, 8.
Yeah, I told my girl when I clear 7 figures, I'm going to retire from sports betting and just be a pro wrestling mark. But I'm not there yet. So let's talk about Denver-Portland. How do you guys approach this? I think this is another one where I like the home team, but at 4, they've made it a little rough for me to just go ahead and auto bet Portland, so I haven't made a play on it yet. Do you think that 4 number, do you think that they clear that? Or do you expect that maybe we get a little Jokic a revenge here and they grab the home court back? What do you think, Travis?
You said it's 4. They're laying 4. The Nuggets.
The Blazers are laying
Blazers
4
laying
at home. They're laying 4 in the Rose Garden, but like you said, they have 2,000 people.
I do not like taking. I don't like going with Portland there. I'd rather go with the Nuggets side at +4. I think this series is a really close series in general, and I think just taking any side that's getting like the points when like it's like 4, you know what I mean? Like if it's like 1 or 2, it's not as big of a deal, but 4 is a big difference for sure. So I would lean on going on the Nuggets side. Obviously, we saw more Aaron Gordon on Damian Lillard, which helped. I'm curious to see how Portland makes some adjustments back. I think this series is going to just yo-yo back and forth till Game 7. We'll see who wins in Portland, right? I'm going to take the side that has the points right now, though, in Denver.
All right, JSU, what do you think? Travis wants the +4. I kind of lean towards Portland, but I thought that price was nice. I thought it was going to be -2. 4 is about right to me, so I haven't made a play yet. What do you think? But I lean towards Portland. Travis likes Denver, and I think he makes some good points.
Yeah, so I think this is a spot where a lot of people jump on the home team, right? Like everyone's thinking like, okay, 1-1, going to Portland.
Only 2,000 fans, JSU. Only 2,000 fans.
Yeah.
It's not going to be
I know. I'm just saying, I think this is how a lot of people will view this game. I view it a little differently here. I think Denver found some pieces out. They're starting to realize, too, I think that Facu is just – he's a solid defender, and he's good at what he's good at, but he's not big enough to guard Dame. You need length to guard Dame. It's great for Facu that he is attached to, as we would say, the hip. So, like, whenever they come off screens, Facu's right there. He's not, like, getting left behind. The problem is he can't alter a shot, like, because Dame's just going to rise up over and shoot the three. And you saw it. He was hitting some really good, like, really ridiculous threes, too, by the way, the last 2 games. But, like, you've seen it. Like, it just doesn't bother him. So you got to put more length on him. And I think Denver's starting to figure that out. I actually think Denver wins this game here. I like the money line at +150. I'm going to take Denver here. If you want to be safe, you can just take the points, like Travis said. But I think they win this first game in Portland, and I'm going to go with the road team here. I think that's probably pretty contrarian to what most people will do with this game.
All right, awesome, guys, because, I don't get a chance to talk to you tomorrow, so I appreciate you guys giving me those thoughts right now because it's definitely going to help my handicap process. I always enjoy hearing what you guys think and taking in your good opinions because that's the cool thing about working as a team is, we might not be able to watch every second of every game. You might see something that I don't see and vice versa, so that was awesome. But let's get into the main event for tonight. It's Atlanta and the New York Knicks, and we were quite contentious on the show last week, and Travis, I think, got the bragging rights here, right? JSU, you and I were on the Knicks. Now it comes back tonight. A similar situation where I think if Atlanta wins, pretty big control of the series. I don't want to say must win, but it's about as close to a must win as you can get. Travis, are you going back to the well with the Hawks tonight, or do you think that they're happy getting the split in New York and they head back home 1-1, quite satisfied with themselves?
Yeah, I'll say this, I can take my L with the Clippers. It did not go my way. JSU can make fun of me, but now's my time to take it to JSU. Like ATL took it to the Knicks. That's a game you're supposed to win, JSU. Like Alec Burks going for 27. You're supposed to win that game. Like, Nerlens Noel is banged up, right? He might not play. Julius Randle looked like a fool, right? He did not look good out there. Hunter also did not get as much run as he probably should have gotten. That was a McMillan issue. There's a lot of things that McMillan did wrong in that game. And the best part is the John Collins at the 5 experiment did not go well when they were doing that. That was an absolute disaster. And I was yelling at the TV to get that off the court. But man, they got to give DeAndre Hunter more time because when he was on Randall, he was getting the job done. And I think that is going to be the difference in this series. I think DeAndre Hunter is going to be the guy that really contains Randall a ton. Man, part of me wants to take the Knicks real bad, just because I think it's going to be a series that takes some time. It's not just going to be a 4-0 sweep, but man, Atlanta, they looked good. I think Atlanta, they could take it again here tonight. This could have been the real sweep. This is one I maybe should have been on, JSU. This maybe should have been the sweep.
JSU, that was a strong take. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just winning on at Mangone, trying to victory lap the Atlanta Hawks for a game where they were losing. They were getting outplayed for a long time.
Like
and then
Michael Jordan
Trae Young pulls it out of the bag. And, he gets it done. We'll give it to Mangone. Trae Young got it done for him. But Eric in the chat, don't worry about being a Knicks fan, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, Julius Randle was awful in that game, and they almost won. Julius Randle is not going to play that bad again, all right? Julius Randle's going to come out and dominate. Knicks are going to win this game. The Knicks is the easy side in this game. They're going to be the easy side in this series after they win tonight, and I cannot wait, all right? Trae Young is not going to get – they're going to watch – Trae Young is not going to get all these easy floaters that he was getting. It was a terrible, terrible defensive move to put Frank Ntilikina in at the end of the game when he hasn't played in a while, and you put him on the best player who's been cooking, and what does he do? He gambles, and instead of making Trae Young shoot a jump shot, which he should have, that obviously should have been what he did, no, we're going to let him get into the paint and shoot the floater that he's been dominating them with the entire game. Like, that made no sense. If you're a coach, you have to be looking at him saying, what are you doing here? Well, I don't even understand why you would even attempt to gamble trying to guess which way he was going to go, because that's what he did. And Trae Young got him and went right by him to the right and had an easy little floater. That's not going to happen again. They're going to make defensive adjustments. They're going to make it harder on Trae. Trae might still have a good game, but in the end, Randle won't have a bad game. He won't look like a fool, as Mangone said, and the Knicks are going to get it done.
He did. Listen, if there's one thing you could say, he looked like a fool in that game.
I mean, he didn't look great. I'll say that. That's for sure. But I don't think it happens 2 games in a row. We'll see, though. I mean,
JC, what happens when I'm in the Garden tonight with a Hawks jersey on? I got a Gallinari jersey on. I got the Mohawk in my head, and I'm in front row just standing like this, like Hawks win game 2.
You can do it. And then and you're just going to get owned when Julius Randle bumps by you and just says, "What's up, little man? How you doing? I just own your Hawks team."
Oh, that would be very hurtful. I hope that is not the case.
Well, he's going to hear that you called him a fool.
I would be calling him a fool. I will say, someone talked about quickly in the chat. I will give credit to Thibodeau. He played quickly way more than
Joey Work. My man Joey Work. He says they won't let your dumb ass in.
They will if I got the money to. I mean, hey, I don't think I'll be going to that game. But
get him, Joey Work. Get him. That's what I'm talking about here.
What's it called? The quickly thing. I was surprised he played as much as he did, like in the first half specifically. Like, he had like 13 first half minutes. So I give Thibodeau credit for that. I thought that was pretty good. Alec Burks shot the lights out. Hopefully MJ is not back for another game tonight. But it's going to be a fun series. I mean, this is one I have circled to watch tonight, right? I think there's 2 games at 7. I think it's a 7 and a 7:30. So I know, like, I'm probably not going to watch the Sixers game as much. I'm going to be tuned into this Hawks-Knicks game because
for sure. The Wizards is something I'm going to watch tomorrow morning before the show. When I get up at 6 in the morning, I'm going to throw it on my PlayStation, on the NBA replay. I'm watching that tomorrow morning. The Knicks is the main event. I got to see it. So let's go ahead and do it. It is time for the best bets. We got a 3-game card, and I will start with you, Travis. What is your best bet for the day?
Go to me second.
All right, JSU,
I already pulled up all the lines.
And while Travis is pulling up the lines, just a quick reminder. Hey, guys, I hope you're having fun watching the show. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. JSU, what's your best bet?
Yeah, so my best bet's easy. It's clearly the Knicks. -2. Lock it in. Knicks win this game. Julius Randle owns Mangone, and life is back to, normal, as I would say, where the Knicks just start moving ahead of the Hawks because they're just better overall as a team. So give me the Knicks -2. Also, one other thing I noticed in that game, which is interesting. One thing that the Knicks were consistently conceiving, if they wanted it, was that corner 3 from John Collins. They were like literally leaving him, and he was getting those open looks. He was 2 for 4. I wouldn't be surprised if the coaching staff kept encouraging him to shoot that shot, especially if they're going to leave him like they were doing in that right corner. Like, because if that's the case, like, you have to take that shot. You have to make them pay for leaving you. And you would expect after Trey just, hung a 30 burger on them and, made them look silly on a few plays towards the end, there's going to be a lot more focus on Trae Young. So that's going to open up some of these shooters like John. Well, he's not a shooter, but like he's going to be out there.
He's a scorer
in that corner. And so I'm just looking at some of these props, and you got his points prop at 15.5, and that's plus money. Mm-hmm. Taj Gibson's in there. They might have to go smaller at times too, which could maybe leave him with an Obi Toppin guarding him at some points. Maybe he gets a mismatch where he can beat them up a little. And then I'm looking at the 3-point props for some of these guys, just pulling it up here. But Trae Young he over 1.5. I mean, I know it's minus 145, but he's got to make 2 threes. That's it. Like I think that's a mistake there. That's something you could bet. You got John Collins at 1.5. That's plus 150. DeAndre Hunter is over 0.5. He's another guy I think they're just going to leave because they don't respect his 3-point shot. So I wouldn't be shocked to take some of these 3-point bets here because, again, like I said, with all the attention on Trae in this game, one thing Trae is really good at. He has a great feel when he gets into the paint and everything closes, how to get the ball into a shooter's hands in a good spot. He's got really good feel for it. That whip pass, remember that whip pass I thought it was the play actually that I thought it was the play that got them in the position to win the game. I thought it was the best play overall in the game was that whip pass. When he got into the lane, he could have gave the floater, but everything was closing, and he gave that one-handed right whip pass to Bogdan, and he hit that corner 3 that tied it up. I think that was like the key play of the game. I'm pretty sure it tied it up. Didn't tie it up, it brought it within 2. But I thought that was the play of the game because it was like 92 to 87 or 89, and that 3 like really got them going towards the end. And it was a great pass. I think you're going to see more of those type plays where he's going to get shooters and good shots. And if the Hawks can make those shots, I think they can stay in this game and keep it close. But it's just one thing I saw. I think you're going to see more of it in the series is there's going to be open 3-point attempts for these like not so great shooters like DeAndre Hunter and John Collins. And if they hit them, they're interesting props to maybe take a shot on.
All right, Travis, that was a great breakdown there. It gave you plenty of time. Let's hear your best bet.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Sixers -8. I just think they're going to roll against Washington. I'm not a huge believer in Washington in this matchup. I don't think it's set up pretty well for them. So we're going to roll with the Sixers -8. I'll let JSU have his whole, stage to talk about the Knicks, and I will be back here. I mean, I will be back on Tuesday. How many games are we going to have between now and Tuesday?
Oh, man, go and you take the Hawks if you want the Hawks. If you think the Hawks are the best bet, you take them. You split the audience in half. You split the audience in half, Mangone. That's fine. You can take them.
I like the Sixers one more. I will say, the crew is on the Hawks, right? We love the Hawks. Two of them like the Knicks tonight, and I'm not in agreement. I think it's.
Who's the? What do you mean?
Some of my buddies, the buddies I talk betting with.
I was going to say, my boy Joey works in chat. He's a part of my crew, and he's on the Knicks.
I mean, Joey Work.
Talk about Joey.
Joey Work is just on like the wrong side of this whole series. It's a shame, It's in the end, it's not your fault, Joey. Your dad made you a Knicks fan. You can blame your dad for it or something, or your family members. I don't know. Whoever made you a Knicks fan, it's not your fault. You're excited. It's the first time you've been back. It's awesome, Joey. I know it's exciting, but you guys aren't getting out the first round. Sorry. It's going to be like Dame Lillard waving bye-bye.
All right. I love that. I love that breakdown because that can go straight to me and for my best bet. And I'm going with JSU, right? But I'm going to go one step further, okay? You guys see I got my normal little fade here today, right? If the Knicks do not win tonight, I will show up on the NBA Rundown tomorrow with the Danilo Gallinari Mohawk. That's how confident I am in the New York Knicks tonight. Take it to the bank, or I will be hawked up tomorrow looking like De Niro and Taxi Driver. That's my best bet. New York Knicks, let's go, or I'm rocking the Hawk. What do you think, Mangone? You got anything else before we get out of here? I think that's a pretty much Vince Carter. It's over.
I mean, I might have to get a Hawk going too. I'm excited. I want the Hawks to win so bad now. Not for anyone's money, or I want the Hawks to win literally.
Just so you can see me look like De Niro.
Yeah.
All right, Joey.
Yeah,
not Joey.
I ain't shaving a mohawk with my head no matter what. So I'm
yeah,
not.
Well, you got a good looking head of hair. When you're looking like this, it's okay. But JSU,
I'm gonna be like Charles Barkley and be like, guarantee, guarantee, the New York Knicks are gonna win. He's gonna say that tonight.
If he does that, I'll just probably shave my head before the game starts. JSU, you want to let him know about the content going on, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, normal stuff we got going on today. MLB show at 4 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube on the Rump Pure Sports channel. And then after that, we have our normal premium, like Up to Lock show, 5:30 Eastern time. I'll be on that show today. I think with JT and DC on that show with me today.
That's a great team. I love that team.
So we'll be on there talking some baseball, Up to Lock. Maybe I'll throw in some hoops at the end too. But yeah, come check us out. We got a promo code right now. I think it's RPS Heater 25 if you are not a member and want to be a member. RPS Heater 25 gets you 25% off your first month's payment. So get in there, check us out. We got core plays for baseball, basketball, PGA. That reminds me, too, we're going to have a PGA show tonight with me, Big T, and we got a special guest, I think, coming on the PGA show. So it's not fully confirmed yet, so I can't say who it is, but we got a nice special guest coming. So tune in 9 o'clock as normal for our Wednesday show. We'll be doing it I think on YouTube. So yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Well, gentlemen, I'm having so much fun. The NBA playoffs have been fun. They amped up the excitement, and I think the show has been a lot more fun too. That now the playoffs have started, so I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We'll bring you guys back next week. Some people will be bragging, some people will be, putting our heads in the sand, and we will see how everything turns out. But it's a lot of fun, great content, and some great picks there, guys. So Travis likes the. Did you say you like the
Sixers?
Sixers. I'm sorry. I almost said Jazz, and then I'm like, no, he didn't like the Jazz. He likes the Sixers. JSU and I like the Knicks. I will be back tomorrow. We'll see how I'm looking. If the Knicks don't win, I'm going to be looking like Danilo Gallinari, and if they do, I'll just have a great smile on my face. So thank you guys, everyone, for hanging out. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow. Run Pure.